Lotus Feet Sailing. It's great to see you here. Today I'd like to tell you a little bit about where our dreams began. We do have a mission, and our mission is to sail on Sandpiper of St Helier as far as we can, for as long as we can, providing it's sustainable and fun. However, this all started several years ago, so I thought I'd just take you on a little journey with us to let you know the beginning. There's probably a little bit of noise around because it's really windy outside, so hopefully it won't interfere too much. Okay, well, it started all about 8 years ago. We were on holiday in Port Morgan. Beautiful, absolutely stunning place, and we did what we always do, which is go and see the marinas, visit the marinas, have nice tapas, nice wine, and one lunchtime we were sat there in a little taverna at the marina, and we saw this beautiful boat come in with 2 people on it. We watched them very competently moor up, not that we knew an awful lot about it then. It was good to just watch them and observe them, and they looked so chilled and so in control. They were like sea gypsies, I suppose. They weren't dressed to the hilt or didn't have any designer names on. In fact, they were in bare feet, which made it even more appealing. So we watched them and thought it was great, and kind of carried on with our tapas, I suppose. Beautiful sunshine, and that evening we went back to the same restaurant, which isn't what we normally do, to be honest, but on this occasion we did, and we observed the couple get off their boat, but this time they weren't in the bare feet, and they were, should I say, classically dressed in crisp white linen. They looked absolutely stunning, and a huge contrast from the lady and gentleman, or should we say sailor and her crewmate. They looked lovely, and off they went into the sunset. And Gary and I looked at each other and said, "Oh, that's our life. That's it. That's exactly what I'd like to do. That kind of no man's land." No, nomads? That's not what I meant. Nomads, that's what I meant. Sea gypsies. And we'd never spoke about that before. We'd never talked about wanting to sail before. So, yes, so it was quite a revelation for us both, really. And so we kind of looked at each other and said, well, we better learn to sail. Holiday was great, and we continued with the holiday. And we kind of went home, and we really didn't speak about that desire again for some time, really, apart from maybe the odd time, but nothing really meaningful. And one day I decided I had a day off. Didn't happen very often, but I did have a day off, and I decided maybe we should do something about this. And I would ring for a sailing holiday. Well, why not? Love holidays. Thought we'd give sailing a go. So I rang loads, absolutely loads, about flotillas. I'd learnt that word, sailing with others in company. And I rang lots, and they all wanted qualifications, which we didn't have. So eventually I spoke to this very nice man who happened to be the owner of Sailing Holidays. He was called Barry, and Barry said, "Is your husband practical?" Well, of course I could answer yes to that. He was very practical. So I said yes, and he went, "Oh, well, that shouldn't be a problem at all." And promptly I booked the holiday. So Gary came home that night, and when he came home, I handed him a book on sailing, or how to sail, should I say, told him that I'd booked the holiday, and with absolute faith I thought, well, that's it, I'm going to do it. And that was probably a little silly, because obviously reading a book isn't going to tell you how to sail, and I'd just booked a flotilla's holiday and we'd never even been on a boat before, well, not to sail it. So putting my sensible head on, we went and did a couple of days in Windermere, so that we could learn how to do stern to mooring and at least know how to helm a little. So that was it. That's it. Off we went on our holidays. It was absolutely amazing. Loved every minute of it, and Gary had obviously read every page of the book, because lots of people, when we met up in the restaurants, were saying to Gary, oh, what kind of boat have you got, and of where have you been, and we had to admit, actually, this was our first experience. So he was obviously doing a good job. Did have a scary moment though, a very scary moment, and if you've seen the first video you'll remember I'm quite scared of the sea. This scary moment was all about, there's some local winds in Greece, because we went to we were doing the whole Ionian in Greece, and there's some local winds and they always fill in the afternoon, but this particular day the winds filled in and things got a little hairy, should I say. Well, a bit windy anyways. Our jib got stuck, and it got stuck out, so we couldn't fell it in. So I had a bit of a meltdown, in fairness. I had a little meltdown. I was like pointing to the direction I wanted to go, completely forgot that you have to go with the wind with a boat, and it's not like a car, and you can't just drive it to this pointed direction that I was probably screeching at this stage, as in, I just want to go over there. Yeah, I wasn't very helpful at all. And never mind, I mean, Gary dealt with it, no problem at all, being the practical man that he is. It was our wedding anniversary and he did shout at me and tell me if I couldn't be any good then just go below, which I promptly did, because I wasn't any good. But anyways, it's made for very laughable moments, over dinner parties or just kind of reminiscing with friends. So for many years now it's been a bit of a joke, and the joke was on me because I lost it. But never mind, it's still, I have warm affection for those thoughts now, and we did have the most amazing holiday. We saw places that we would have never seen as the normal tourist, just booking into a hotel. So absolutely pleased that we did that. And it definitely did excuse me, it definitely did set the whole thing off, set it alight, as a fire in our hearts of something we did want to do. I probably put Gary and my son, actually, who came with us, Reese, I put them both off tuna pasta salad for life, because that's all I ever made at dinner. So that's probably not the highlight for them, that's for sure. However, we came home and we went back to work, as you do, to earn the money, to pay for holidays like that. And the kind of work took over. Work does take over, if we're really frank. It kind of like just took over, really. So we didn't really do an awful lot about the whole sailing dream thing for quite some time, although Gary kind of thought he should take a project on and looked at different boats. And most weekends he filled his time looking at different boats, but he worked really hard, and I didn't really see where he would have the time for a project. In fact, he just wouldn't have the time for a project. More than capable of taking a boat on and making it look something lovely, but project just wasn't, we didn't have the timeline for a project, or I didn't think we did. So we then used to go weekends, we used to go walking in the weekends in the Lake District, which was very close to where we lived. Beautiful, stunning, but we used to call in at the local marinas, so we used to go to Windermere, which is very nice, and there's a little place called Derwent Water, and this day we went to Derwent Water and we'd sailed in the Ionian Jag 22, or Jaguar 22, so we knew we could sail that. So there happened to be one at Derwent Water, but we weren't looking at that boat, we were looking at some other boat at that time, when Dave from Derwent Water Marina came up and said, "Oh, what are you looking for?" And we said, "We don't really know really, but we've sailed a Jaguar 22, so..." And stop right there, he said. "I have one just coming on the market. It's not on the market yet, but it will be. I just haven't done the details for it. In fact, they're on board. Why don't you come and have a look at it?" Well, that felt a bit, just walk on somebody's boat whilst they're there. Oh well, we did. And Sonia, who was on board, you think we bought it at that time, she showed us everything. She made us coffee, she showed us how to mix the fuel, she showed us all the way around the boat, and we had a lovely time, and stepped off the boat. Walked around the horseshoe, which is the marina area, and when we were walking around the horseshoe, we went, you know what, it's our wedding anniversary. They don't want particularly an awful lot of money for this boat. In fact, I think it was something like, I don't know, £4,000, I think, something like that. And we went, oh, you know what, we can sail it, we could sail it tomorrow. Better than a project, because that would take us months and months and months. So we did. So we bought it. And we had an amazing time. We left her on Derwent Water, and we sailed on Derwent Water every single weekend. And it was absolutely amazing. Wind shifts, huge amount of wind shifts. And Gary was learning a lot just by doing. I felt like I was getting completely left behind. We healed a lot. I didn't like that very much, to be honest. And I had a lot of what I would call oh shit moments, and when I go, oh shit, that was when we were healing. I didn't like it an awful lot at all. So I decided that I didn't want to let Gary down, and I didn't want to disappoint him, and I really did want to achieve this. But if you've ever tried panicking and trying to learn together and being husband and wife, it wasn't working. It's like your husband trying to teach you to drive. So I decided that there was a very nice young man called Nick Morgans who worked at the marina. And so I booked 2 days tuition with Nick to go out on the water and learn more. I have to say, he was very patient. But he was amazing. He had a really great way of tolerating my silly mind when my mind was telling me I can't do it. My mind was telling me, just get off the boat, just give it up. And he helped me past all of that. It was an absolute joy to spend time with Nick. 2 days are very well spent because I totally got over my oh shit moments. So that was great. And then we kind of progressed. Swallow was quite, she didn't have much headroom, should I say. And whilst she was beautiful, Gary kept hitting his head. And even I did, and I'm only 4'10". So we decided that maybe we should move up and we would get a little bit of a bigger boat. So we went to Windermere, we had a look around Windermere, we had a look around 3 different boats. And who should we bump into but Nick? Nick had moved jobs and was then working at Windermere. So Nick told us of a beautiful boat called Sandpiper of St Helier. She was a Sigma 36. And Gary, in all of that exploring that he'd done for projects, had made his mind up that his desired boat would be a Sigma 36. So obviously everything all came together, and we purchased Sandpiper of St Helier, a Sigma 36, and she indeed was not a project. Obviously we wanted to make her our own, and we've done lots to her since, but she was absolutely ready to sail. Only part was she wasn't on a lake, she was on the sea. Oh well, there goes another thing Tanya has to get over. We have to go from the lake to the sea, the North Sea. Well, this is where our dream really begins. And yes, the North Sea and Sandpiper are absolutely made for each other. And so next time when you watch our videos, I'd like to tell you about how we took it to the next level, how we decided to sell our house and how we did that, and how we decided to give up our jobs and cruise full time around the UK and beyond on Sandpiper. So I'd love to tell you about that, but I'd also like to leave you with a little quote, a quote that spurred me on very, very early on, and just to say that we should travel whilst we have our health. Well, certainly sail while you've got your health, because it's quite strenuous. Shouldn't actually wait until you've got enough money, because you'll never have enough money. So therefore just make it happen however you can. Don't kind of wait too long. Nobody wishes in the last days of their life that they had more money. But what they do look on is their experiences and their memories, and they're absolutely priceless. So those words really spur me on, get me past the nervous moments, and I look forward to telling you all about where we are now in future videos. But right now, I wish you all the very best. Stay safe. I will see you on our next video. See you later, guys. Don't forget to subscribe if you like it. Bye.